Welcome to AlphaCars Service Center. My name is Dimitri, and we just received another G-Class from one of the customers in Texas. And this one is especially interesting. The underbody is really solid. The frame is in awesome condition. There's really no rust anywhere on the frame. It's in incredible condition. It's very good. There's some light rust on some cross members, but that's nothing to be concerned about. But then the rear shock mounts still disintegrated and broke off. In fact, here is the shock, and the piece of the mount is right here. There it is. Check this out. And it literally broke it off. We inspected the tube, and the tube is extremely thin on this one side. We'll see if it's repairable or if it should be replaced. We're going to look at the other side. Yeah, the other side looks intact, but there's definitely rust development. So what we're going to do, oh no, check that out on the bottom, it's gone. It is gone, the inside is all rusted out. So we hope the tube is in good shape, and obviously the rest of it needs to be cleaned and rust proof. The back tube looks nice. But the frame on this AMG G-Class is in great condition. Check that out. So that's great news for the vehicle owner. We're gonna let him know. Yeah, there's one area of concern, technician is reporting. So yeah, there's another rust spot we're gonna get in there, and we'll remove the rear skid plate, and we'll get behind. So there's a cross member above the gas tank where there's a lot of moisture gets trapped. There's definitely some rust there, so hopefully there's no structural rust damage, and we can take care of the rust, clean it, treat it chemically, and rust proof it. We also are doing a comprehensive vehicle inspection for mechanical components, maintenance items, and one thing that jumped at us right away is a broken spring. You can see it's right there. Not uncommon, so that's broken. Let's look at this side. This side is good, but the spring coating separated and rust getting in there, so it would be a good time to replace both springs. We also see that someone did a cool repair. Cool, like not really a good one, but it worked for a little while. So this flange, the bolts rusted off, and someone put these clamps all over it. We do have a proper method of addressing that, and that should be done on both sides. Not a big deal. We can take care of it. Yeah, we will continue with the mechanical inspection. The drivetrain on this one looks nice and dry so far. Nice AMG motor, and again, very impressive condition of the underbody. We've seen a lot of the G-Class from really from New England that spent a lot of time in the winters here, and they don't look this clean. This is very nice, so definitely worth investing. Nice vehicle. And we will continue with the rest of the inspection. We're going to look at the paint meter tests and some other things. With the vehicle on the lift and protective plate removed, we are observing and checking out this vehicle. And this one was recently sold by Carvana, just so you know. So what we're looking at is heavily rusted. We just knocked off a massive layer. You can see the edge right there. We just knocked off a massive layer of rust. And we're gonna need to remove the gas tank to see the back side of this tubular frame, and we're hoping it's okay, but if it isn't, it certainly is repairable. We need to check the strength of these connections, and This condition is present on both sides. We don't know what's behind the gas tank. And the gas tank itself, we discovered, was improperly, well, I would say it was an interesting way of probably addressing a leak somewhere or a crack, because it's wrapped with a fiber cloth with epoxy, and you can see it's cracking and coming apart in different areas. There are no active leaks, which is a good thing, but it is definitely a concern, the condition of the current condition. So we're gonna need to remove the gas tank to deal with the rust issue, and then we will make the recommendation on the gas tank. Most likely we would recommend to replace it. We made great progress, and as you can see, we removed the gas tank. It took some additional time due to some seized hardware, and we had to be gentle with the gas tank. We're basically dealing with almost a $6,000 gas tank, and there were some concerns. We're going to take a look at the gas tank and see if it's something we can work with. But we have the gas tank off. We're now able to assess the rear frame. The tube on this side, definitely salvageable. It's fine. We have not cleaned the rust on this frame extension, rear extension. We did clean it on the driver's side, and unfortunately there are some holes here. We're still evaluating the repair method, and we'll make recommendations. The rear tube here definitely has some weak areas, so we're gonna make some additional evaluations here. And as you can see, this is the rust that came off during the gas tank removal, came off from the vehicle. And let's take a peek at the gas tank. It is right here. The epoxy material on the gas tank, as you can see, it is loosening up in various areas. Some are worse than the other. You can see right here. But the good news is that the gas tank did not have any signs of leakage yet. Check this out, all these cracks. So we're going to evaluate and see if we can possibly restore this gas tank. There's no physical damage, just the epoxy material aging and weakening on the surface of the gas tank. Here's the new upper shock mount, and we are applying the rust converter. You can see the rust is not as orangey. We're doing several coats, and we're giving at least 24 hours between the coats for the rust converter to work. You can see right here it's turning more brown than orangey, and we want it to get as close to black as possible. You can see same thing over here, and you can see right here there are spots where it's turning black. So we're gonna keep applying rust converter to get it to that point. And we already have the new shocks in the front. Here they are. And I believe we already fixed the flanges. Yes, so check out the new flanges. That's all done on both sides. And mufflers are back in place. Very busy last couple of days, and we have some exciting progress to report. Let's check out, this is the completion stage of the repair on the left side. You can see the new shock bracket is welded right onto the pipe, and this one we actually have to reinforce the tube, and then we clean the rust on the spring mounts, and you can see where we finished that, and we are Also, we started on repair of the extension tubes on the rear of the frame. You can see we fabricated the plates that we basically wrapped the tubular extension. We drilled to check the depth of the tube by the frame to make sure there's enough strength to do that. And luckily for us and for the vehicle owner, the base of the tube was nice and strong, so we were able to weld the tubular attachments, patches, I would say, not attachments, patches. And you can see we pretty much wrapped that. So now it is all good. And we're looking forward to working on this side. And we completed the repair of the upper shock mount on the passenger side. There's still a little bit of cleanup, but overall, we are making awesome progress. We now applied protective coatings in repaired areas. We assembled the rear axle. You can see the new shock. You can see already the new shock bracket attached to the tube. And we have been experimenting with the best method of repairing the rear frame, the section of the rear frame. We discovered more rust damage in the actual frame rail right here. And you can see we cut out the section where the metal was weak, and we installed a reinforcement plate, cleaned everything, put the seam sealer, and applied the first protective coating, first layer of the protective coating. We still have work to do on the passenger side right here on this tube, but we already completed all the assembly and all the repair work with the shock upper bracket. The springs are back in. Prior to the spring installation, we cleaned rust from the spring pads and treated that, and also applied the protective coatings. There are certain years of the G-Class when Mercedes decided to line on the exterior the plastic gas tank with the fiberglass material. Unfortunately, for the G-Class owners and for Mercedes, when they did this, the fiberglass lining did not adhere, and in some of these indented areas, it actually did not even adhere to the body of the gas tank. And of course, in these areas, it started to crack, the dirt started to get in there, and it started to work its way further. We're going to show you pictures of how this gas tank looked before we started this repair. And right now we're not quite in the middle. There's still a lot of work to do, but just based on these images that we're showing you, you can see how much cracking was on this gas tank. And we've done all the prep work. I'm gonna try to pull this up because there's no adhesion here, but you can see this was the worst area right here, right there. So we cleaned all that out and we got to the actual base, which is very important. The key with this job, if you decide to do it, or if maybe we're gonna do it for you, but the key to the success to get this done right, you have to get rid of all the loose areas, and you have to keep grinding until nothing peels off. I'll show the areas where we still have work to do. For example, right here. We still have some work to do in this area, but you can see right here, there is an air pocket that was left from when this was done by Mercedes. So we still need to keep grinding this until it looks like this, So once we done everything and we're happy and we're gonna re-inspect everything, then we're gonna cut a lot of this fiberglass cloth, a lot of it. We're probably gonna end up with 5 or 6 layers in some areas. Mercedes didn't do it that way. They only had 1 layer, and even that layer did not adhere throughout the contact surface to the gas tank. We're using this fiberglass resin, and we'll probably end up with, I wouldn't be surprised if we use 3 gallons on this job. And then we're gonna have a good, durable, protective liner on the exterior of this gas tank. But if you have the G-Class, well, first of all, check it for rust. And we have great videos that show you which areas to check. And don't get disappointed if you see some rust, even on the California ones. Check those rear shock mounts, check the frame rails where this gas tank goes around the frame rail. That's where there's a lot of moisture and the sand gets trapped and they rust. So we actually have a video on this vehicle that you can check out. So make sure the rust is taken care of, and hopefully it doesn't have much. And then take a look at the gas tank. If you catch it in time, it can be repaired. And this is not an inexpensive process, but it's a lot less expensive than buying a new gas tank. And not to mention, one of the reasons we are doing it on this G-Class is because currently Mercedes doesn't have any gas tanks in the United States or in Europe, and they don't even have an ETA. So we don't have many options, but luckily we have this one option, which is a very, very good and reliable option. There's also another area of concern. The fuel pickup right here may have some rust. It probably will. We were very lucky on this vehicle, and there was no permanent damage. There was some surface rust, deep surface rust. We cleaned it, and then we used Worth rust penetrating paint to reinforce and to protect from any future rusting. But if it is damaged, it certainly can be and should be replaced. But on this one, we were very lucky, so this one is in good condition. We now have 3 coats of fiber soaked in the epoxy resin, and we're at the stage where we're still sanding it down. We are discovering spots with air pockets like this one that we open up, and then we're gonna feed. You can see a couple of areas here and here. There's one here. We're gonna open that up, and there are probably a couple more. And then now we gonna put on top of this another 2 layers of the fiber soaked with the resin. And then after that, it'll be a good and solid application. So we are getting ready for the installation of the gas tank tomorrow. As you can see, we're doing some rust preventive coating application in the areas where the gas tank is going to go. And then as far as the gas tank, we did the final coat of fiberglass cloth and fiberglass resin. You can see right here. And tomorrow we'll give it a quick sanding and we'll apply the chip guard over it just so that it looks good and there's some additional layer of protection. Yeah, this is how the product looks when it's applied. And as you can see, it's kind of non-drying, continues to penetrate. And we're gonna get it in all little cavities and all pockets. But right now we're just doing the rear of the vehicle so that tomorrow when the gas tank is ready, the product is applied and we can install the gas tank. Yeah, this is how the area of the repair looks before the protective coating application. And we're spraying the protective coating inside all of the tubes. You can see this tube is already sprayed. And that's the one that we reinforced. You saw the videos from before. We are finally ready for the gas tank installation. All the fiberglass and resin work, it's all done. It looks gorgeous. It is very, very strong, probably stronger than the original one. And it is also coated with the scratch and scuff protective coating. It's called stone chip guard. Here it is. And we use German Worth product, and we're getting the whole vehicle ready and sprayed for installation. Well, we have the rear frame all prepped up, so that's the gas tank gonna go in. We are checking out the condition of the frame. This is now 24 hours since we applied the rust converter, and we can tell it is definitely hardening up. You can see I'm using the sharp edge of this. Yeah, and you can see it's pretty much, you can see a little bit of brown stuff, but it's definitely mixing in with the rust converter. And these are probably the worst areas you can see right here. So while I can scrape that off and it looks like there's rust there, but it's definitely neutralized. And once it is coated with the protective coating, it is still going to be there, penetrating and working into the rust and keep converting the rust. So we're very happy with this outcome. A lot of work was done here and very thorough cleaning and rust converter application. And we're gonna give it another pass today. There are a couple of touch-ups we're gonna do, and then we're gonna apply protective coating. Look at all these cross members. Everything is clean and rust converted. The gas tank is in place, and we also completed the application of the rust preventive treatment. We use New Hampshire oil on this vehicle, and I'll show you how it looks now that it's all applied. And by the way, the gas tank looks awesome with the new fiberglass wrap. And when I say wrap, that's a joke. It's a substantial 5-layer coating and the strip down of the original one. Okay, so you can see we cleaned off all the frame rails. This one wasn't bad. It didn't really have any rust. We just needed to clean all the dirt where it was situated on the surface of the frame rails and between these lines. So that's been cleaned and the product was applied. So this vehicle is very well protected. We're still going to advise the owner to monitor the underbody condition and the development of rust, but this one is going to Texas, so it is going to have a lot less issues just because it's a different climate compared to what we deal with here in New England. But you can still see we did a very thorough application. Very important to get the product in the spring seats because they rust away in the front. But on this vehicle, they were in great condition. So definitely awesome timing for the rust preventive treatment. And we completed all the work in the rear of the vehicle. I'll show you how it looks. This G-Class, G55, came in with the typical broken off upper mount for the rear shocks, upper bracket. So this is how it looks when it's all done. And on this one, the tubes were still, well, at least on the right side, it was in reasonable condition, so we were able to reinforce it and reuse them. But we did install new brackets, and actually on the left side, on the driver's side here as well. You can barely see, but where you can see this weld, you can barely see, but that's where the reinforcement plate went, and then the bracket went on top of it. This one also had the rear tube of the rear of the frame. It was weakened by rust, so we wrapped it in with the reinforcement plates, and it's all good. And then of course there was a frame rail that seats in the gas tank cavity. That was all rusty. We had to reinforce that, but it now as strong as new and protected from rust better than when this vehicle was new. We also cleaned out the spring seats. There was some rust development. We treated that and applied protective treatments, protective coatings. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed it. Please share, please subscribe, and let us know which videos you like the best by simply clicking the like button.